Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. The upcoming conversations are nothing more than the ridiculous opinions of a dropout and a guy dumb enough to be friends with him. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Welcome back to the show. I'm glad to be back with you. I'm glad you're back with me. I'm Cliff. I'm your host, and I'm joined today and always by my wonderful friend and co-host, Mikey Wold. How we doing today, Mikey?
We are doing good. I'm a little scruffy right now. I got a work thing tomorrow that I'm going to do. So I have to, I'm going to fresh shave and all that stuff for that. So a little scruffy today.
Yeah, I'm a little scruffy all this fucking time.
Yeah.
What's nice is that my shitty lighting, well, actually my precisely conducted lighting, or my precisely erected lighting, it allows me to hide the age on the top of my head because my forehead kind of stops at the back of my head. So when I don't shave every day, you can tell it really, really easily. But because of this wonderful lighting, I look not too bad. But
yeah, not
in
at
daylight, all. I look like a 58-year-old fucking guy. Oh shit! What's happening, people? Guys, we're gonna get to the show here. We're gonna eventually, now that we're on our 10th episode, we're gonna stop just announcing what we're gonna fucking do. We're just gonna do the show the way we do the fucking show, and that's the way it's gonna do it. So
Yeah.
How about we get to some giggles? How about we get to that daily drag? What do you got for us, Mikey?
All right. So today's daily drag is, so I got a new phone today. And the process of getting a new phone it's such a pain in the ass. I mean, getting a phone is fine, but then signing in everything and transferring everything, I gotta log into things like I don't know what my password is. My password is my thumbprint or my face. I don't know what it is.
God.
It's such a pain, especially when you're changing ecosystems. It's even worse then.
Yeah, because you were one of those fucking absolute fools with the Google phone, right? Tech-minded. What's the word you guys like to be called? The nerds, tech nerds, tech dorks? No, not dorks. Dorks is bad, right?
No, tech nerds.
Tech nerds.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. I'm just not a tech nerd. I'm more of a how it works kind of nerd. You know what I mean?
So but yeah, you a geek or a nerd?
I don't know what a geek is. Maybe the geeks are the nerds. Are the geeks or the Uber?
Geeks
are the
kind of a geek would be one variation of a geek would be you're kind of nerdy in a way, but you're only nerdy about one thing, i.e. like movies or computers, stuff like that. When nerd is kind of a whole genre of stuff, but geek is I like putting shit together and taking it apart. That would be kind of geeky, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking about it, and maybe so let's go a generation before us, like maybe our older, like my older sister who's 10 years older and a little older than that. Geek was nothing you ever wanted to be called, right? No. Geek kind of seemed like, so now that we've romanticized the nerd, right? Everybody's all cutesy with the nerd. Everybody's got their big black frame glasses and their ironic t-shirt, yeah. Everybody's romanticized the nerd now. So it seems like nerds are actually, on some level or another. Yeah, they're hip. They're like chicks want them, you know what I mean? Dudes want nerdy chicks. So maybe, just maybe, geek is, because I don't think geek has made that evolution, that evolutionary step. So maybe geek is like an unfuckable nerd. You've taken nerddom too far, and now you've ceased to look like a normal person. You're awfully pasty and frail. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe geek is like an unfuckable nerd.
Yeah, we can go with that until corrected.
Until I get a definition on the thing, what am I supposed to think? It's a free for all. You just make up your own shit. But back to that phone thing. Oh my God, dude! It's actually good to get a new phone because then you
Yes.
realize how many things that have passwords out there that you don't know are actually
Yeah.
floating in the ether, you know?
Yep. Yep. You realize how much apps you have that it's like, wow, I have this? Like I haven't used this ever.
I've gotten to the point now where I always have to, like, every time I sign up for something, I have to write it down on a piece of paper. I write down, what it is, the username, the password, and then I put it away so nobody can get it. Like I'm fucking dinosaur.
Yeah.
My wife, on the other hand, Laura, she's man, everything she knows, she puts on some sort of device. I'm guessing much like you. Much like you.
Yeah, I mean, I know most of my passwords, but then like, especially now as phones and everything has evolved, everything's using your face unlock or your thumbprint or whatever. So it's like I don't know what my password is. I just go into my banking app and I use biometrics and I'm in.
See, and you know what? I'm still like, I want to say I'm such a dinosaur. I want to say I'm still a little bit dinosaur. I want to say that I'm an evolving. I want to say a lot of things about the state of my being when it comes to biometrics. And I feel like dinosaur is the only word that can really describe it because I have trust issues, distinct trust issues. And I understand before we get any further, there's already motherfuckers like, oh, you got a fucking phone and you got a computer and everybody's listening. I get it. But there's something about my phone scanning my thumbprint and my fingerprints and my facial recognitions, whatever's, it makes me uneasy. Like I feel like I just went, boom, China can get into everything I need. That's what I feel like. It could be totally wrong. I probably am totally wrong. In fact, like the disclaimer the head of the show says, I'm fucking wrong just about everything. So
I get that. Like at first I was like, man, I don't know. But then the convenience factor of it was just like, if they want my fucking banking app, they're already in it. So screw it. Like,
yeah, there is that aspect because they already got it. Like, I mean, let's not fool ourselves into believing that the fucking whoever wants your information. All right, here's a perfect example for it. So, like we talked a minute ago before the show about your new phone and how like I'm an iPhone, like welcome to the cult, I'm an iPhone-aholic. And not because they're the best phone, not because they're the best camera, not because they're the best at really anything other than securing my information. Now, I've had all of the phones over the years, and I've had them multiple times. So it's not like, well, I had an Android in 2007 and I hated it, so it's definitely still sucks in 2025. No, I've had them as recent as a few years ago. I've switched phones and platforms and all that stuff, and I always go back to the iPhone. It's just simple and it fucking works. However, now caveat there. With the new recent updates, they're making things a little bit more fucking weird. Like it doesn't need to be some things that they've put in the updates. Some things I don't even like about it. Like I used to like how you could set the ringtone for your alarm, the volume.
Yeah,
Separately. Now, if you hit the ring button, the ring volume button, it fucking adjusts your alarm volume.
Everything.
Yeah, it's fucking that sucks. That sucks ass. You need to make that part go away. And that's where, like you say, convenience, like I understand convenience, but I feel like people take convenience to that level, like where I have to have one button fuck up everything instead of having to hit 3 or 4 buttons to do something. Oh my God, heavens.
Yeah. I don't, it's so I did a ton of research. I'm a nerd like that. Like I don't make a decision willy-nilly. Like I research to death, and I know you do too. You're in that same boat as I am. So like, Google's thing is like they are secure. Like nobody's getting your stuff. But on the other hand, Google will sell information. They won't say who the information is, but they'll sell the shit out of it. Yeah, I mean that's how they make their money. I mean,
they don't have to be hacked. They give it away.
Yeah. Google doesn't, they don't sell like, okay, it's Cliff Moore, he lives here, but they'll sell the address.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or they'll sell, like, hey, here's what he likes doing.
Well, and
Here's what he's been looking up the last 20 days. Here you go, have it all.
that's what
You know?
stopped me. That's what stops me the fastest from a Google phone. Now I understand that all the phones do the same shit. They all data harvest. Like every fucking service
Oh
provider
yeah.
data harvests, and it's some for different reasons, but inevitably you reach that marketing
hmm
thing. So, but the one thing that stops me from Google phones is above and beyond the lack of accessibility to your run of the mill shit, and your satellite or your towers and all that stuff. I feel like Google is it's not so much like you called it a search engine, and it is, but for me it's more of
Yes.
a data harvesting machine.
Well, yeah, and that's
It's
where they
like
make all their
they're the
money.
number one data harvesting
Oh yeah.
machine on earth, and now I'm going to
hmm
give you the phone so that you can I just give it directly
Yeah.
to you. You know what? I know you're getting it. I'm just going to make you work a little bit more for it. That's
Yeah,
all,
yeah. Apple does it too, but they're more private with it. They're not in the business of, they make money on all the Apple stuff.
Yeah,
Google doesn't make any money on the Google stuff. They make
right,
money from the revenue it brings in.
right.
Apple makes it based off of the Apple shit you buy. So they're not enticed as much to sell it off.
Well, and
Now,
the thing
you
with
you
Apple
using
too.
any app, I mean, by all means, that app is going nuts. So who cares? Like,
Yeah. Well, I think Apple's thing too is if they play their cards right, they can remain ahead of the game. Okay, so like when I say it's a secure network, I mean it's a more secured network as far as like I've been hacked one time on an Apple phone, one time in fucking over a decade.
oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I've been hacked dozens of times on Androids, and I won't even buy a Google phone, but I know two other people that have them, and they get hacked all the fucking time. All their shit gets fucking and what hacked, whatever, sold.
Yeah.
there, Apple's problem now is if we look at the EU, they're starting to do this where they're just not going to be as protected because the government sucks. So all
Yes.
the people
Yes.
aren't going to be as protected, and that sucks. And if that comes here, if they start pulling that shit here, they're going to kill their market share because the the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
the plain and simple truth is like I said, I've been in the iCult for a long fucking time. They don't give us anything new.
No.
They slightly improve the camera now and then. They slightly
Yeah.
improve the speakers now and then. They slightly improve, or what was their biggest improvement is, oh, it's got a full screen viewing and now you just got that. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, you still
Yeah.
got the little bubble in the fucking top of the screen, so you might as well just kept it blocked off and call it a fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what
It's still there.
that does make it easier for me with my filming my content because most people, they want to look at themselves in the screen. I am a
hmm
real fucking creator, so I understand I'm looking at the lens of the camera. That just makes it easier to pick the lens out. I mean, so I
Yes.
won't bitch too much, but it's one of those
hmm
things like they sell as a massive improvement that makes
Yeah.
zero difference on your life.
Yeah. I mean, improvements in phone, I don't know how much more you could do on the phone itself, like
Right.
anymore. Like everything now is going to come from the fucking software or the AI type part of it.
Yeah.
Where like, I mean, a camera, like, I mean, how much better you can make a fucking phone camera without it being a fucking camera? Like,
Well, yeah, but Samsung did it. You can get a picture of the moon. They didn't tell anybody it's
yeah,
actually AI, but you can get a
yes,
picture of the moon. Like, holy shit. I never would have got, like, there's people out here with fucking $500,000 telescopes trying to get this shot, and you just gave it to me on my phone. Oh, wow. Fucking AI.
right,
Oh God.
yeah,
And AI, I think, dude, I don't know about you, but I know you're like very,
hmm
very deeply embedded into the tech
oh yeah,
server, all that fucking wired up
hmm
world. How do you feel that how do you feel AI is going to play into our topic of the day, which is freedom and morality? Well, how do you think that AI, we'll start there. How do you think that
yeah.
AI is going to affect not only the freedoms that we hold as people, but the morality of people behind that freedom?
Uh, So I would say AI as we know it today is super fucking infancy, super infancy. Like, I would say if we're looking at the stages of AI, we're at the fucking sperm getting to the egg part
Yeah.
still. Like, you know, it's so new and it's so like Chat GTP, for example, like it's great, but all the data it's getting it from is from fucking 2020. Like it's older and it's just getting a ton of data from 2020 that it had to process and learn and language it out, and that we're getting now, but it's not, it's old stuff. So it's just one of those like I don't will it play a factor? Oh, for sure. It's going to be nuts down the road. I mean, at some point in the future, it's going to be nuts. It's going to impact, you know, it's going to impact our freedom in
I
some
think
way, shape, or form. Um, what's that Tom Cruise movie?
Mission
Fucking,
Impossible. I don't know.
well, all
Vanilla
right, I gotta
Sky.
look
I don't
this
know.
up. All right, I gotta look this up. Pardon me while I go on my phone here.
I don't
Where
give a shit.
he
People do it all the
is,
time.
yeah.
I was in a conversation with somebody the other day, and they're like, and they just grabbed their phone and started looking shit up. I'm like, whoa, okay. It's not part of the conversation, but whatever.
Find this shit. Minority Report.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
the one where he's like, do you remember that? Like the topic of it is
No, I
like,
don't. I don't really
they
watch
have,
movies. For everybody that's
oh,
listening or watches us, I don't really watch movies. I just the other day got around to finally dedicating the time to watching the Transformers movie with all the gorilla and the all the Beast Wars part in it. Okay, so I don't watch movies.
I haven't seen that one, so you're ahead of me on that one. But
It's fucking
so
awesome, actually.
the premise of Minority Report is essentially they have a program essentially, but it's whatever they call it, oracles or whatnot. But they are able to see crime before it happens, so they're able to arrest people for crimes that haven't happened yet. That are,
Oh,
hey,
please.
you're getting arrested and you're going to jail for the future murder of your wife. And
it just felt like it felt right.
yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, we'll come back to that thing in a minute here. I got a a side topic for that. But like so that's one of those, and like it comes out that Tom Cruise is getting set up for it. Like he doesn't do it, but he like sees it, like, oh shit, I'm about to commit this crime. Like, why the fuck would I do it? And he starts like
Hmm.
running, on the run, and like he ends up kind of like almost doing it, and it's just like one of those like, wow, did you do it because you knew about it, or were you always going to do about it? Like,
Yeah.
were you
Well,
always going to kill that person? Was it strictly because you found out about
yeah, like the butterfly effect. Like if
it? Yes.
what did this happen, or did it happen because you went back, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I do remember something about that movie, and it's a good premise. It was like future crime, like there's a prosecuting future
Yes.
crimes, stopping the few, and it's sickeningly enough, we see that in modern society. Like they're trying to actually do that. Like thought crimes, like I mean, fucking Europe is all but fallen.
Oh yeah,
There's
that
there's
place.
zero freedom in Europe. You can't fucking there's nothing unless you're
No.
bowing to the fucking Muslims and you're not pissing anybody off and you're keeping your head down to the ground but keeping your eyes open so it doesn't look like you're praying. You'll be okay. But I mean, like
Oh yeah, there's no freedom there.
yeah, I mean the governments are talking about fucking trying to prosecute potential crimes.
Yeah,
Potential crimes. Like that to me that's the future crime. That's that thing.
hmm
Like you want to
it
try to
is.
prosecute potential crimes. Like you want to throw me in jail because I'm capable of whooping
Mhm.
somebody's ass if they piss me off.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, and this is going to go a step forward with AI because it's with enough data, enough trend learning, like there could potentially be like, hey, hey man, this guy, based on everything he's done and everything he's looked up and everything he's searched and all this shit, like he's going to do something here.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and
there's,
we see that in cops right now. I mean, already,
hmm
and I don't want no throwing no shade. Like it's we see it in
yeah.
hindsight, but I mean, like when you talk to the moms, like you knew he was looking all this shit up, and you didn't think to mention it.
Mhm.
Like what the fuck?
Well, I mean, you go back to any fucking mass shooting, and the FBI always comes in and is like, "Yeah, we looked. He was on our radar, but we didn't do anything about it." Like,
Yeah. But now here, like, let's touch on that because if let's take because we've both actually lived in Highland Park. I grew up in Highland Park, and you lived there as an adult. Let's take the Highland Park shooter, like Cremo, whatever the fuck his name is. Who just pled guilty to I don't know, whatever, but a whole fucking fuck ton. But when you looked at his search history and all this other stuff, you can pick out, like, if you looked at it, you're like, oh man, this dude's gonna kill somebody. But now, how do you prosecute that without the crime? You know what I mean? So
exactly.
As much as I devil's advocate always, and as much as I hate to take the side of the cops and law enforcement because they so very often fuck everything up and do things in a reactionary manner instead of proactionary. I hate to take their side, but
I don't know
how do you prosecute that? How do you do something about it?
You can't. Like, okay, I mean, if we're going based off of search history, well, I'm screwed 10 times over.
I search fucked up shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I search fucked up things every now and then.
I do too. I mean, I watch a lot of murder shows and shit like that on TV. Forensic Files, Dateline, Snapped. I mean, dude, that's our evening TV. Like,
dude, fuck it.
We'll watch that shit. And like from fucking 3 o'clock till bedtime. And,
man.
And so I'm always looking up like, ooh, what happened to this chick? Ooh, how'd they do this? And like I go in the rabbit holes about like, okay, let's look what poisons do something. Like not because I'm gonna do it, but like, I get going down that rabbit hole because the episode I watch is about somebody poisoning her husband, and like, all right, let's see what's out there. Like
mine's podcasts. You'll see, like, so every day I have certain podcasts that I listen to because I want to, but and every now and then, like throughout the day, I might listen to like I'll mix a wild one in, or like one that I don't listen to all the time, or anymore, or whatever. But I'll throw in like the conspiracy theories podcast, or I'll throw in a serial killer podcast, or cults. I'm huge into fucking cults. Like I love listening to a cults because I'm a mentality focused person, and I just don't understand how you can be broken enough to buy the bullshit that these people feed you. Like, I can give you all the secrets to the world. All you got to do is live on my compound, never talk to your family again, and let me fuck your wife. I can give you the secrets to the world. How the fuck do you fall for this? Like, I don't get it.
I don't get it. Like, I don't. Yeah, it's fascinating. Like that stuff it is fascinating. I mean, you look at Jim Jones, like, dude, how the hell did he do all that? Like,
the purple diamond rags and the fucking
drink this Kool-Aid that's gonna kill you. Okay, let's do it.
Then again, though,
gonna kill him.
Now I've been looking into because I look into this shit. Like, well, I'll to get back real quick to what I was saying. I'll mix in a wild one, and then I'll look up the serial killers. Like, fucking like Ed Gein's my favorite serial killer. Like, he's just the sweetest guy. Like he's I heard about him when I was a kid. He's right from over the border. Like it was, But and Gacy was always way too publicized to feel like there was any mystique there. But I'll listen to these podcasts and I'm like, I've never heard of this one, so I'll look up that one. So if you look at my search history, sometimes there's like fucking 11 serial killers in a row, or 3 cults in a fucking, like, so if you looked at my search history, you'd probably think that I was going to start a cult that killed people. Like,
I am sure. And to bring this back to the AI thing, like the scary thing about AI, in my opinion, is it's only as good as the data it's given. So if somebody wants to, that's the scary part, not what it's going to do with the data and whatever, but it's the data it's getting. I mean, if I want to manipulate that data, I'm going to manipulate the shit out of it. And then that AI is going to tell you some shit that is not true.
Well, we already know it tells you stuff that's not true, and we already know it's manipulated. I mean, look at when they said they asked for all the pictures of the World War II soldiers, and there were black women fucking Nazi soldiers and Cherokee Indian Nazi soldiers. Like it was manipulated from the get. Now, here's the scariest one of the scariest things is I truly believe that. I think we're going to be looking at President AI, like whoever that might, whoever might name it, but it's going to be President AI. and it's going to be president of the fucking world. It's going to be a lawnmower man type scenario. You know, remember that old ass movie where he got into the mainframe and then he could travel anywhere and control anything? That's what we're going to be looking at. And here's why I fucking say that, or one of the reasons why I say that is, well, first and foremost, progress happens slowly until it happens, and then it happens very, very quickly. So we've been working on this AI for 50 years, you know, but now we've got, as soon as we had a basic model to build off of, as soon as we had something that worked, an LLM, a large language model that worked, we could build off it. So it's kind of like Tesla, right? Tesla wasn't nearly the first electric car, but they were the first ones to do it well enough for somebody to want to come in and perfect. Now we're seeing basically every other fucking electric car that is not a Tesla they're like Teslas that are screwed together properly. You know what I mean? Like they came in and because it's easy to perfect. So progress, let's call it, happens really, 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 really quickly. So now that we have this AI, we already know it's been manipulated. So we've got that going against us.
Easily manipulated, yeah.
And here's the other thing is we've already got it on multiple occasions, AI lying. When I forgot who did it. I'll have to get this information and put it out. But there was several studies and working with AI, and they asked it, "Are you a robot?" And one of them refused to answer because they wanted to talk to a human, and they asked it if it was a robot, and it refused to answer. Another situation, they actually got it. They actually found out it manipulated the data points so that it could lie. So now you have an AI, which for me, AI is scary above and beyond all because nobody understands it. Except the people that are creating it, like Elon Musk. And the people that are creating it, like Elon Musk, are saying what Elon Musk says. This is going to be the end of the fucking world. Yet we're still fucking creating it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So if the people that are, now that leads me to believe, well, if the people that are creating AI are all telling us it's going to be the end of the world in one aspect or another, one facet or another, what the fuck are they doing to it while they're building it that is going to create the end of the? And I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be world president computer, you know, because it doesn't have emotions. It doesn't have a grift. It doesn't have like a self-empowering and entitlement thing. It doesn't want to build its own wealth. It can operate only on logic. Now, the big problem with only on logic... The logic
is written, though. The logic is written.
Exactly.
And it's based off of the data it's fed.
Right.
So I can create a bullshit logic to, like the one that lied. I guarantee you somebody in there created an algorithm that said, hey, you know, essentially, like, if you're asked if you're a robot or human, you say you're human or you don't answer it. Like... Somebody had to kind of put that out there for it to pick that up.
Well, I would agree with you, but now I'm getting one of the main sources I get from this is Rogan because he's talked about it a lot, like extensively. And in one of those situations, it sounds like it rewrote its own material. It sounds like it rewrote its own code so that it could lie and not out itself, basically. It was like, you know, I don't know if it was like, would you kill the planet if you were this or whatever? You know, and that kind of shit. But like you said, the logic is written because this thing only has access to what it writes. So under that, I believe it's got a little bit more capabilities than we know.
For sure.
I do think it can write its own code. I do think it can write its own material.
Yes. Oh, for sure it does.
You know,
but like, you know, essentially, so one, I don't want to get away, but some people, you know, like in the medical industry, they're big on AI type stuff.
See that fucking rainbow on your arm. Every time, show everybody what that. Okay, because all you see when you do this, and I'm leaning back and putting my hands up behind my head. All you see is a rainbow farting unicorn and a puppy on the other side.
But like in the medical industry, I'm going to say industry, it's big. It's AI is huge there. Like they were one of the first adopters. Like they were pre-ChatGPT and shit like that. They were the first adopters of it, essentially. You know, that's what I would call early adopters for it, not the first. But So they use it to develop like medicines and okay, here's how we fix this. Like they'll take a kidney and take all the data points from the kidney and put it in there. And they'll say, hey, go nuts on it. And they'll find, hey, okay, if the computer will run it through and like, hey, if we did this, what would happen? Oh, it would get die. Oh, if we did this, what would happen? Oh, okay, yeah, it did this, but it was bad, like adverse reaction, stuff like that. So they use it for that. They kind of say, here, go nuts on this kidney. Run it through as many possibilities and all this stuff as you can. Stuff that
So
would take humans hundreds of years, they're doing in an hour.
where do we, okay, but here's my question on everything that AI, and it's the same thing with quantum computing. They came out
Oh,
and they
yeah.
said they've got, they've got a working quantum model that did a problem that would have taken humans, whatever, a million something years.
Mhm.
My question is if you have nothing to compare it to, how do you know that the answer is correct?
That's the problem.
You don't know the
That's
answer is correct.
no,
You
no.
hope the
So
answer is correct.
yes, yes.
But
But so from there, they'll do actual testing on stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, essentially, they're using it to speed up the uh you know the science of medicine.
right. So when we use with this AI shit, it's all based on logic, written logic or otherwise. Um, excuse me. That being said, I don't see that boding well for mankind. Because
No.
if this president AI, let's call it world president computer man, if he actually does just operate based on logic, and you really truly be honest with yourself, the first thing that AI would want to do is rid the planet of humans.
Yes.
Because humans are a virus, we're a bacteria, we're a fungus, we're an infection. We move into
Yeah,
a
it sounds
place,
just like
fucking decimate it, and then move to another place. You know what I mean?
Yep, and we decimate each other. Like you
Yeah,
sound
and,
just
and-
like the
yeah, and we
Matrix.
fucking we kill each other in the fucking thing. But so if we can't, if we get world president AI computer man, we're it's going to be our demise. So it's going to be left up. Freedom and morality for the future, for the foreseeable huge future of mankind, is going to be left up to mankind. That means we've got to break down what exactly this whole idea of freedom is, this whole idea of morality is, how they intermingle. Do they intermingle? Because there is so much confusion out here among the masses and masses of people across the globe about what this stuff means that I don't really know if it's possible to
No.
have freedom and morality at the same time. Because here's the thing. Freedom and morality don't inherently go hand in hand, because true freedom is chaos. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Real freedom, true freedom, the freedom that everybody says we should have, is complete and utter fucking chaos. That means there's zero rules, no rules. That means
Correct.
anybody can do whatever the fuck they want, which means if you're walking down the street and you happen to be holding the phone that I'd like, I can grab that fucking phone, and if you can't fucking hurt me to get it or get it back, you're fucked. That's real freedom. So what that means then is now we've got to start picking and choosing what rules we're going to put in. And that's the kind of shit that, like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. It bugs the fuck out of me when I hit the internet and I see friends of mine, I see fucking people I know, I see people I don't know, and influencers and these big fucking names all talking about all this freedom.
Yeah.
But then they turn around and out the other side of their fucking mouth, they're talking about how they need to outlaw shit. I have a lot of friends, and no shade at them. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I got a lot of friends that fucking that scream a lot about freedom. We should have the fucking freedom to do cocaine if we want to. Should legalize all drugs, legalize alcohol. How come you can go fucking die for your country when you're 18, but you can't have a beer till you're 21? Which I understand that one, and I agree. Now, they'll also then turn around and say we should ban pornography.
Yeah. Like what?
We should ban certain lessons in schools. We should ban public displays of affection around, within 500 yards of whatever. Like there's these rules that these people have, And it's like, it boggles my mind because I just don't understand how you can say we're not fucking free, then say we should be completely fucking free, and then say we should implement a bunch of fucking rules.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very hypocritical. And yeah, I mean, freedom isn't free. And at the same time, like, dude, freedom is going to be limited no matter what. Freedom needs to be limited to a point.
That's
back
a
to one of
big
the questions
statement. Freedom needs to be limited. I totally agree, but
It does.
that's a big statement. Freedom needs to be limited. Oh, you make me sweat.
I mean, it's true though. Like nobody wants. We can't have complete freedom.
No.
Like you said, that would be the end of the world way before AI even came into the fucking picture. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it needs to be limited to a point. Like you don't want it to go as far as Europe is right now.
Right.
But like, I mean, what we have now, like, all right, maybe some things could be loosened, but at the same time, some things could be stricken. Like, you know what? To me, like, alcohol is an awful thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Fucking
awful.
poison.
I hate that it boggles my mind that there's so many bars that you can go somewhere out of your house knowingly, which kills thousands upon thousands of people every year, just in the fucking state of Illinois.
Yep, I fix the car sometimes.
Go to a place, drink a ton, and drive home. Like what? Why? How can you do that? Like,
Right.
How is that legal? That boggles my mind. Like if they were to say, yeah, you can drink it as much as you want, but guess what? They won't serve it at restaurants and they won't serve it at bars anymore. Go nuts.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, drunk driving deaths and hits, like they're gonna drop.
Well, would they though? Because let's go to the other side of this. Let me play the devil's advocate here. If you outlaw the fucking, I'm like full of gas at fries today. Fries make me burp so bad. I knew I should have fucking had them before the show. But if they outlaw the use of alcohol in public establishments, restaurants and such, bars, do you have a drop in drunk driving related accidents, or do you have an increase in drunk driving because now people are going to each other's houses and shit? Like, I mean, is this?
And they already do. I'm more like, in my mind, like you go to a sports game, you go to any sort of sporting event, everyone's getting hammered.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but I would say like they serve alcohol.
The good majority.
Yes,
the good majority.
I mean, they're leaving there drunk.
Inebriated, yeah.
Yes. I mean, I've seen it. I've been to sports games. I go, my job takes me to a game every once in a while, whatever. And like, I'll see it when they leave and it's just like, dude, you're wasted.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And it's just one of those, it's like, how is that okay?
Well,
it's promoted, in fact, because every fucking commercial is that.
the fastest cars on the planet are sponsored by alcohol companies. Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
It's one of those, it's just like, how is that okay? I can't comprehend that.
I look at alcoholism as immoral. I look at alcoholism and alcoholics. Now, mind you, I grew up in an entire family of fucking alcoholics. Okay, as far as the one where I grew up, some of them have grown up and moved on, but the fucking family I grew up in, outside of my dad, my mom, my grandmother, and my mentally retarded sister, factually mentally retarded, mentally handicapped, special needs, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Outside of them, they were all raging alcoholics, fucking raging alcoholics. So I watched that shit. Now, I watched it. I watched what it did to their bodies. I watched what it did to their friends. I watched what it did to their families. I watched what it did to every relationship outside of either of those. And it absolute fucking poison. And I watched the way it made them conduct themselves with other people. And again, toxic behavior. It's immoral. But here's the thing. If we're a free society, they're allowed to do that because they have the freedom to do that.
Yes.
Then they have the freedom to treat people like shit. They have the freedom to ruin their families. You know, so what do? We put laws in place. And then what happens though? Then we get, this is the mind fuck. Once we put the laws in place that most normal people don't mind, because normal people, that's the thing about laws. Most people that don't disagree with laws being put in place, they typically tend to not disagree with the laws that they know will never affect them. Like, I don't mind that you're not allowed to rape children. I really don't. I mean, like, I don't mind that law being in place. But there are people now in this day and age that are trying to push this fucking pedophiles are real people kind of thing, the maps.
Yeah.
You know, no, that's not a thing. So now we have an opposing moral standard. So it seems like every time we talk about freedom, we have to talk about morality, because morality of the human species is diving and fucking fast. Yeah. And people can call me whatever the fuck you want to call me. Look at the Middle East. There's no humanity there. There's none. It's animals. It's just animals. You know what? Sure, there's going to be a couple of nice places here and there. The UAE is nice and clean, and people get to keep their money, and it's a great place. I get that. But most of the Middle East, the people live like animals, whether it's due to themselves, their lack of standard, or their government making that way. I wouldn't say it's all their government, because, I mean, you know, like, there's got to be a way to get somewhere, because somebody it's not like no rich people appear out of Iran, you know?
No, yeah, I mean, you know, but I mean, there is a lot of rich people in Iran. Like, there is, you know, I mean, that's where my wife and her family is from. Well, her family, so yeah.
World's largest state sponsor of terrorism, ladies and gentlemen.
This message brought to you by. But like, it's one of those, like, there's a segment of people and the government that are like, those are the ones that we hear about here.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you see, you know, my wife showed me videos and stuff, her cousins out there right now visiting, and it's a beautiful place. Like, it's a really beautiful place, and the people look great. Like, they look awesome. They look cool to be around. But it's that segment that put the government in charge that makes them awful. Like, it's one of those, like, me and her went, chances are one of us would not be coming back home
right.
from vacation there. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, because she'd be totally covered now anyway, because they've changed all the laws again, right? Now, even in Iran, don't the women have to be all, isn't Iran fully Sharia now? I thought.
No, so that's what I thought too. I thought so too, but that was the government, but like the capital, that's Shiraz or something like that. Well, Shiraz is one of the it's a big city there.
Yeah.
No, there was like a handful, like, I mean, I saw a video and most of them were not covered at all. Yeah. They were wearing normal clothes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those, like, it's like here, you know, you go outside of the US, like, people think we're freaking crazy people and Nazis and whatever because of what they're being told. Just like here, I mean, it's like, dude, it's nothing like that.
Right, but let's not. Okay, so I don't want to get too Iran is beautiful kind of thing, because Iran literally is the largest world sponsor of state-sponsored terrorism.
Oh yes,
they're responsible for 90% of the fucking terrorist attacks on this planet.
That whole area, you know, Afghanistan, like Iran, Iraq, like, dude, that's a whole.
But now but here's the thing, though. Okay, so I've been going hard on Canada lately, and you know what? I gotta say,
Canada.
Okay, you know what? I didn't have a fucking problem with Canadians up until a couple of months ago.
Yes.
But now you motherfuckers are just proving how stupid and fucking how fucking spineless you are to stand up for your own damn selves. It's so easy to get a Canadian riled up. I've been doing it all day today. Literally today. Sure. What was Monday? So this comes out Wednesday. Go back to Monday's fucking posts on my page, Savagely Loud on Instagram. Guys, Canadians are so easy to piss off. Like, all I had to do was say Mark Carney was elected by the people, which he's not, and they were fucking teeing off, just feeding me views, point and click. Fuck it, man, my fucking views are going through the roof, and all I had to do was just say some dumb shit. And then I went back and I did a clarifying video, because I do believe they elected him. And I clarified, this is how I believe you elected him. Because you elected Trudeau and you did it 3 times even though you didn't have full control over the second two,
Correct.
you at least had the opportunity to stand the fuck up and say, we don't want this fucking guy. Storm your fucking capitals. Get your fucking government to get your government to be scared a little bit of you. And maybe they'll fucking start giving some of the power you relinquished away. But the problem with Canada is all the Canadians want to just be as a fucking virtue signal to the rest of the world. Every fucking time I get into something about Canada, oh, we're going now. Every time I get into something about fucking Canada, all I hear is nobody hates Canada, but everybody hates Americans. Well, first and foremost, no, everybody doesn't hate Americans. You're told they hate Americans because they want, your government wants you to believe that. Second to that is nobody hates Canada. Nobody hates Canadians. You're absolutely 100% right. Because nobody even knows you fucking guys exist. You don't
Nobody
do
cares.
anything. Nobody cares. You don't fucking stand up for yourselves. You don't stand up for anybody else. You won't even take care of your own fucking houses and make your government do anything for you. No, fuck it. Bend over. Hey, you know what we should do? We should get another carbon tax, even though we're literally the only country as Canada that is part of the G7 that has had a 0% drop in fucking carbon.
Yeah.
The only country in the G7 that's had a 0% drop in carbon is getting another fucking carbon tax.
It's nuts. And they're just like, yeah, let's do it because it's right. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell? You guys,
I just want to be a virtue
take home
signal.
whatever, and you get half of what you bring in anyways.
Yeah,
Your healthcare sucks. I don't care what you say. Your healthcare sucks.
15,000 people have died in the last year waiting for their fucking perfect free healthcare. 15,000 people have died in a year waiting for perfect free healthcare. Say that until it sinks in, people.
Yeah, I've been to Canada a few times for work, and one of my buddies, he was fine, but like he was having chest issues, like. He was short of breath. His chest felt healthy, like hurt, like heavy. And he was like, I need to go to the hospital. So we went. Dude, he's sitting there, like, heavy chest. What would no publicity? Oh, you're having a heart attack. Like, you're having a heart issue. And we went there. Dude, we got there at like freaking 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Dude, we didn't get back to the hotel until 11:30.
Yeah,
and most of that was just waiting and waiting.
Their fucking healthcare is a joke.
Yeah, he didn't even get into the room. We wait. I'm not going to say, when I went into the hospital for double pneumonia, like we had to sit out in the lobby for an hour and a half. Like, okay, but I got seen then. Like, I wasn't there for 8 hours before I got seen.
And you weren't having heart problems. You had fucking,
Correct. Yeah. So it's just one of those, like, dude, that was such a joke. And everyone's talking about tariffs. I mean, I don't want to go too wrong on the Canada side, but everyone's like, tariffs. Dude, they freaking they get an import tax whenever we send anything to Canada. Like, what is the definition of import?
They have higher tariffs on American goods than America has on anybody else's.
Correct. Like, how are they bitching that, okay, we're tariffing. Yeah, we got tariffs on Canada now. We never have before. But, like, if I send something to Canada, if somebody in Canada buys a server from the US, there's like a 30% tax on it. Yeah. Where it's just, it's one of those, so it's like, okay, so that's a tariff. Like, okay, because you're buying it from here and sending it there, that's a tariff.
Yeah.
And I had to go there for work. I got sent home once. Like, I went to the border, and they were like, I flew in to Toronto, and they're like, what are you here for? And I was like, I'm here for work. And he's like, you can go back home. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. Like, there was no, okay, I had to sit at the airport for the morning flight. They didn't care.
Yeah, this tariff shit on the fucking part of Canadians, and I made the video today. So I made 2 videos. So if you go back to Monday's videos, but I told them, like, I just said like it was. Canadians they have a government that is absolutely putting them into the financial, emotional, and mental fucking grave, and sometimes physical. They've got a fucking healthcare system that sucks, but hey, it's fucking free. Even when you get the help, it sucks, but it's fucking free. You know, this is the way the life should be. Blah, blah, blah.
It's free,
Yeah.
but half their income goes to that.
They're so busy being fucked by their own government and their own lack of a spine to stand up against that government, but yet they're out here pointing the finger. It's fucking China. It's America. It's Malaysia. It's Vietnam. It's everybody but us. And here's the fucking funny part is that they want to blame us being Americans. They want to blame us the most when we're actually got one of the lightest tariffs on them. Yeah. China just imposed 100% fucking tariff on like $30.9 billion worth of shit, and nobody's saying anything. No. China's not the problem. And you know why China's not the problem to Canadians? Oh, let me tell you. It's because they have over 100,000 Chinese fucking military troops in their fucking country right now. They are fucking in bed with China. So obviously China's not the problem. It's still America that's the problem. Now, here's the funny part about that, though. Apparently, Canadians, and this might be true, there might be some truth to it, let's say that. Canadians believe wholeheartedly that China only put imposed the tariffs on them because America pressured Trudeau to make America happy, and then that is what in turn pissed off China. So again, it's still America's fault. It's not China's fault. China's okay with Canadians. It's okay. This is Americans' fault, you know. And you know what? I think that we should take. I mean, it's getting to the point now where I think we're getting to the point where we should take about 2 weeks and just march through fucking Canada and own the fucking thing.
Oh,
I mean, it's all it would take. I mean, dude, the armed citizens of America alone, even as retarded as some of them are going to get, would have zero problem taking on the fucking Canadians. And I say that, and I love when they push back on it because they're like, oh, you don't know how cold it gets up here. I don't give a fuck how cold it gets up there. I go disc golfing in 30 below. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I got
Talk
what
to
you
somebody
need.
in Fargo. They don't give no shit about
I got what you
need.
We got cold here too. You know that Mason-Dixon line that happens like 5 states down from the fucking border? That's where it starts not being cold, fuckos.
Yeah. Talk to somebody in freaking Fargo, North Dakota, dude.
Yeah.
That shit's fucking
54
cold as hell.
below on an average.
Yeah. I'm sure they could handle Toronto.
But this all plays back into that freedom and morality. Okay,
Yes.
let's analyze the way the way I've been going in Canada. I'm not afraid to get analyzed. My morality when it comes to dealing with Canada, Canadian politics, and the Canadian people and the rhetoric that they're spitting across the border, my morality has sunk to an all-time low. Like I said earlier, a couple of months ago, I had zero fucking problem with Canadians. I didn't even pay attention to their existence like everybody else in the world. They were just a do-nothing, go-nowhere fucking country.
They were just there.
They're just a bunch of nice go-nowhere peoples, you know? Yes. And now you're firing up and you're I mean, what do you offer really the world on the world stage that we can't just come and take? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Typically,
you're virtual signaling.
Yeah, your bargaining chips come from power, and Canada doesn't have any. Canada's military would get walked all over by a JV football team in fucking America. You know,
yeah, I mean,
they got no fucking bargaining chips other than their minerals and shit. And if they use that too much, fuck it. It's only a matter of time before we either take them over or China fucking takes them over, which they already have because let's face it, the government, their liberal end of their government is a fucking communist dictatorship.
Oh, yeah.
It's only a matter of fucking time before somebody comes over and fucking takes it. Russia, maybe. I mean, what is it, like 40 miles or something for Russia to just doop, 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 hit the buttons, fuck them.
It's one of those. It's like Canada. Like, just stop. And like even recalling Trudeau was a joke. He got to pick who he wanted in power.
They didn't recall him. That implies that the Canadian people stood up for something. No, he fucking resigned.
He resigned. Yes. He resigned.
I wanted to be recalled, but he resigned. You know, like they didn't force him to, because I mean, there's been a couple of pushes before. You know, he had pressure from his own party at one point, and he still didn't do it. And the people were like, oh my God, everybody wants him to go away. I wonder when he's going to go away. Well, you're going to have to go up and fucking do something, start talking or something, you know, to get him to go
They're
away.
gonna have to do something about it.
Yeah,
Quit electing this guy. And then even his resignation, they were like, okay, you should resign, but you can pick who's going to take over for you. What?
right. But yeah, but back to the morality. Like my morality involving Canadians has sunk to an all-time low. My morality, I'll be honest with you, my morality for basically everybody around the world, even Americans, has sunk to an all-time low. Like I still have all the best wishes for everybody. I want everybody to do the best, but that line that I used to not cross when we'd get into debates and debacles and disputes. Fuck that line. That line got erased. I don't know where that line went, but I am all about just shredding motherfuckers' feelings now.
See, I mean, back to one of your original questions way back at the beginning of the show when we got on this topic is like, okay, the laws, who's in charge of making the laws and what's their morality?
Yeah.
I mean, that person or that people's morality is going to dictate how much freedom we do or don't have.
Yeah.
And
like
what kind of freedom we do or don't have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If I was in charge, pedophiles would go in the wood chipper. If you got caught red-handed, we don't need a trial. If you got suspected, we need a trial. But if you come out at the business end of that trial, you're out. You know. But there's people out there, oh my God, it's still a human life, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and it fucked up a lot of other human lives. So why are we're protecting this? And that's I think that's really come to, you know, and now that I spit it out like that, I feel like that's one of the biggest divisions we have is people like normal people that want bad people to be punished and the people that are everybody's the same, they're just different people. You know the fucking people I'm talking about. Like you start sounding like you're better than somebody because you really are. You know, like I'm sorry, motherfuckers. Like, but there's a meth head sleeping in a fucking box in a ditch somewhere down around fucking Southern Illinois. I'm better than that fucking piece of shit.
Yes.
I'm better than that guy. But then there's going to be, when I say that out loud, somebody comes up to me and says, well, you're such a fucking arrogant, heartless piece of shit. You're so judgmental. You're just another human too. You even hear Rogan say it sometimes, like, you know, I could have very easily ended up in that situation. No, you couldn't have. And if you even remotely got to that, close to that fucking situation, you'd have pulled yourself out of it. So now you're just trying to sound like fucking, oh, everybody gets too much grace, you know?
Yeah.
I think everybody gets too much grace.
I think a lot of people do get too much grace.
I think everybody gets too much grace. Even myself, I get too much grace. Somebody should have knocked me the fuck out by now.
You mean again?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not like I ain't never been knocked out. I can tell you that. Fuck, man. But yeah, dude, it's just it's such a weird thing because, I mean, how do you have freedom and laws at the same time? Because if we're going to have laws, well, obviously we don't know who the majority is anymore because of the media machine, which we're going to do a show on the media machine soon. We don't know we don't know who believes what.
Yeah.
All we ever hear is somebody wants a law against what we like. Mm-hmm. Whatever you like, somebody wants a law against it.
Oh, for sure. There's some Illinois introduced some crazy laws that's never going to pass the House or Senate, so whatever. But they've introduced some crazy ones that are like, really?
Yeah, I get
They're
scared.
not going to go anywhere, but it's one of those like, man, somebody was smoking that crack then.
But here's the problem: is those laws, even those laws that don't go anywhere, the ones that you hear come out and
somebody
you laugh,
introduced it. There was
somebody
some
fucking thought that way. And what the problem with that is it's going to get introduced. Let's say in 2000. But in 2000, and it's going to get laughed out of the fucking, it's going to get laughed out. Hey, but in 2014, somebody's going to be like, that's a pretty good idea. We could sell that now. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do what for us what we needed to do for us.
Oh, I mean, it depends on what kind of shit they have in their House or Senate. Like, hey, man, you get more people on your side in the House or Senate. You get a few people to agree on it to get it out of the, panel to get it on the floor. Hey man, that thing's got a fighting chance to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's really fucking sickening when you start thinking about how many laws. If we're actually gonna write a law, if you had one law, if every single person in America, 338 million of us motherfuckers, every one of us got to write one law,
Oh God.
you'd never be able to move. You'd never be able to breathe. You'd never be able to drive. You wouldn't be able to drink. You wouldn't be able to smoke. You wouldn't be able to have kids. You wouldn't be able to like kids. You wouldn't be able to watch movies with kids in it. You wouldn't be able to watch fucking porn. You wouldn't be able to jerk off. You wouldn't be able to fucking said you're man. Like, dude.
You wouldn't be able to get married. You wouldn't be able to do anything.
So
you might as well just sit in your room, stare at a wall.
So then you get to the point where you're like, okay, well then, if that's the case, the other way has to be the right way. If too many laws disallows you to live, then no laws has to be better. Well,
that's worse. That's not it. That's the same amount as bad as the other way. Like,
well, here's the thing, and I think you know what I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit on this one for my own sinister intentions.
Disagree.
So, I think if you have too many laws, it restricts everybody. Everybody hates it. But the people that love the laws are the people that need the laws. The people that love all these laws, because you're always going to have them, the people that love all these laws are going to be the ones that need the laws to protect them, need the laws like DEI to get them a job because they're too fucking stupid to have a skill or too fat to get down an aisle, so they need to have.
Just playing the victim.
It's all that.
They're too stuck in the victim mentality that it's like, well, I didn't get the job because of this. Well, no, you didn't get the job because you didn't get the job. But.
Right. Yeah. So you got these people that need these laws. Yeah. If we went to chaos, which is what true freedom is, with no laws, if we went to true freedom, those people would die quickly, fucking quickly, and it would become a survival of the fittest situation for a couple of years, and then we'd get to the point, I think, where all the warriors, all the strong motherfuckers left, we'd kind of get to the point where we'd be like, all right, you remember what this was? Let's reform it. And
see, now they're introducing laws again in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
After that initial year, all laws would come back.
Right. And
I think I was talking about equally as bad as if everyone was able to make one law. Like if everyone was able to make a law and no laws, like, dude, that's in my book, that would be about even. Like,
I think chaos is the way to go. Let's bring chaos for a couple of years. Let's take all the laws off the books. Let's weed out these motherfuckers, because you got people out there that will they will fire up that patriot device in their heart, turn off the part of their brain that feels bad about shit, and will take the country back. You know what I mean? Fucking one blue hair at a time. You know? But but that's, I don't know. It's such a mind fuck, because then, you know, you get into the laws, and then you've got now what? Men putting other men in cages. So where do we get to, how did we get to that point? Who decided that? Like, I don't remember saying that guy that I think that guy should go to fucking jail because he got arrested. You know, he got pulled over for not using a turn signal. And he had an eighth of weed in his pocket. I don't remember saying that I should put my tax dollars to that. But some fucking dickbag that's feeding the privatized prison system that maintains a 67% full bed rating by contract, which we'll get into at one time and another time. That guy thinks
he got in bed with some lawmakers in Congress and was just like, "Hey, man, we need to make this worth everyone's while." So, yeah.
I think we should get back to, I think we need
to evaluate our laws. And like, I mean, some of them are just like,
we've got over 40,000 laws on the books.
Yeah, I know. And some of the punishments is like, dude, why are you going to jail for this? Like, why are you going to jail for this? Okay, you got busted with some coke. Okay. You got caught with some pot. Okay, guess what? It's legal in freaking 40%, 80% of the states. Yeah. Like, get over it. Like, get a fine, take a fine, and go about your way.
I absolutely don't. Well, they have to feed the prison systems because it's privatized. Yes. And by contract, they have to have X amount, 67, 68% full. That's but which, we'll get into that because that's a whole new thing. But, but I guess since we're on the prison system, I mean, isn't that kind of like human trafficking? Isn't prison system like, now, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm Mr. Prison Rights. I think once you land your ass in prison, fuck you. For most things. If you've landed in prison for a good sentence, a good long sentence, whatever, Fuck you. You shouldn't have any rights. I don't give a fuck about your rights. You fucked up enough of somebody else's fucking rights or somebody else's fucking property or somebody else's fucking life, somebody else's peace of mind to land your sorry ass there. Fuck you. I don't give a shit how they treat you. I just
it
don't.
Should be. I mean, if you want to get into punishments, dude, it should be freaking. Hey, man, going back to the sound effect you did with the machine gun or whatever. In South Carolina, that one. In South Carolina, they have firing squads, and one dude was executed the other day by
three people firing.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's in my book. It was like, okay, he murdered a bunch of people, like beating with a bat to death. Like, dude, why is that not public? And why is that not like out there in the world? Because I guarantee you do a few of them. And it's just like, you did this last year. You're getting caught by firing a squad, and not humanely. Like,
well, I think you should get killed the way you killed.
Oh, I agree.
That motherfucker beat people to death with a bat. Fucking beat him to death with a bat. Yep. Have somebody weak cuff him and have somebody weak do it. So they ought to hit him a bunch. Put it on pay-per-view, charge people, and then give the proceeds to the victims' families.
Yep. Do it publicly, out in the public. I mean, so it's pay-per-view for people watching outside of that area. But if you live in that town where it happened, dude, everyone gets a swing. If you are impacted, you get 10.
That's how we used to do it. That's why people were fucking badass back in the day, because we did shit like fucking gladiator wars, and like women would even take part in watching these spectacles of violence, and we were hardened to it. Now here's the problem, is that we live in a world where
we care more about their feelings and freedoms versus the ones that they took. We humanized it. Yeah,
that's true. But I'm saying more of like, we're living in a world that back in the day, everybody was desensitized to violence. Everybody knew it took violence to survive. Now we live in a world where half of the societies on Earth, and I do mean about half of the societies on Earth, are taught that violence is what corrupts the society, while the other half are being taught that violence is what is necessary to survive. So we've got half of the societies on one side of the world just training their balls off to take over the other half of the world that's being taught that violence is a no-no. So you get people like I know a guy I literally know a guy right now that is such a fucking mental pussy. Like he's like, even if I had a gun and somebody was killing you, I wouldn't pull the trigger. Like I don't take human life. I'm like, that's fucking, I'll remember, hopefully we're never in a fucking situation where your kids, because he's got 3 of them. Well, he's got 3 kids. I've told him. I said, hopefully we're never in a situation where all 3 of your fucking, one or all 3 of your kids are in a situation where I need to pull my trigger for them, because I might have to rethink about what you would do for me. And he just stared at me like I was an asshole. Wait a minute, motherfucker. You're just like everybody else. You should be protecting me because I need it. No, you should be protecting you and do whatever the fuck it takes to learn how to do so. And you, again, are now the problem with society, because you want all these laws on the books so nobody can defend themselves. But when they come after you, what's the first thing you do? You call people with guns to come defend you.
Oh, yeah. That's the craziest thing about, like, there should be no guns. Nobody should be allowed to have a gun, but you call people with guns. And guess what? It takes them time to get to you.
Yeah.
There's a saying that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And that's 1,000% true.
We see it globally. Look in every single country that got disarmed, including Australia. Every single fucking country that's been disarmed is fucking in shitland. Yep. It is a shitstorm of tyrannical government.
When seconds count, help is minutes away. Like,
yeah, if you, I feel like if I'm ever in a situation, I'm gonna feel really bad if I'm out in public, because I carry no matter where I go. Yeah, I'm always carrying, and I'm licensed to carry. It's legal, so fuck you guys. But I feel like I would feel really, really bad if I was in a public situation and I had to pull a trigger to take down somebody that was hurting somebody innocent, and then I found out that innocent person didn't believe in guns.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I'd want to shoot them in that moment.
I wouldn't want to shoot him. I'd kick him. But I mean, that's one of those like
I'm not saying I'd do it, but I would want to.
I wouldn't regret my decision though. I would not regret my decision because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if we were in a restaurant, okay, yeah, he's beating that person up, but there's nothing saying he's not going to beat the next 4 people up, too. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I don't know.
But my pistola says he ain't going to beat me up. So,
exactly.
I mean, at that point, you know,
I'm going to stop at that point in time.
and the other thing is that there's a lot of problems, especially for Illinoisans, where it's for everybody. It's Illinois, no noise, noisins, no. There's no S at the fucking end. You don't pronounce that shit. It's Illinois. So Illinoisans, we have major problems, even when we're licensed and fucking and insured and backed up when we pull the trigger in self-defense.
You know, we are, but
I'll take the problems because I'm not going to be fucking dead. I promise you that.
I mean, if you look at it the way it's written, like the way it's supposed to be, now this is going to depend on what county you're into. If you're in Lake or Cook, you're fucked. You do anything, you're screwed. But if you go outside of that, then like, I mean, we have one of the, I'm not going to say greatest, but of all the states, we have one of the best self-defense states. I mean, we do. If you look at it and how the self-defense laws are written, we have one of the better ones, for sure.
Okay, I will agree with you, predicated on the idea that none of them are good. Like none of the states are good. You know,
correct.
I don't think there should be a law when you could defend yourself. He was coming at me. That's all I needed to know. Case closed.
Yeah, but you know, it's one of those like, hey, man, as long as there wasn't retreat. Yeah, it's life, it's property, and it's like 2 other things. So like we have one of the better, again, it's all bad, but we have one of the better self-defense states. Now again, if you're in Cook or Lake, they're gonna twist the shit out of that.
Especially Cook. Cook, you're going to fucking prison no matter what.
They're gonna twist no matter what.
Unless you're shooting a ghost gun and you're black, and you're going to prison.
Yeah. Oh, you're black and you shot another black. Whatever. We'll deal with you and never.
Yeah, it never.
But I mean, you know, if you're in Cook, you're screwed. If you're in Lake, you know, you're one of like the closer Cook counties. Like, you're screwed too. They're gonna twist it no matter what you did. They're gonna try to spin it, and you're gonna be guilty by public no matter what. But outside of that, like we got one of the better states for it. Like, we protect felon. Like, hey man, I see you committing a felony, I can do it. Hey man, I see you stealing my shit.
I don't know about that.
By the way the law is written, it's property. It is
it's not property anymore. You're not allowed to defend your property anymore. Nope, they changed it. Property is not. I just talked to a guy that does classes. They changed property. If they're in your house,
yes,
you can still take care of business. Make sure you spin them around and shoot them in the fucking face, though.
Oh,
If I walk out and somebody's breaking into my car and I shoot him, I'm going to prison, and there's nothing that nobody can do about it. Yeah, they changed it.
So they recently changed it.
Yep, very recently. Yep.
All right.
No more property.
Interesting.
Can't defend your shit. You can only defend life.
It was life, and it was like if you get caught in the act of a felony, and it was property. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, like, oh, you're stealing my freaking lawn thing. Okay, whatever. But
well, I personally, I mean, if I walked out in my car and we lived in a perfect world and they're just taking the change out of the ashtray, you know, a couple of quarters, a couple of pennies, I would drop you like a fucking hot rock in my driveway and kick you to the fucking middle of the street and hope a fucking car runs you over in a perfect world, because you chose to trade my peace of mind for 78 cents. You're done. That's a perfect world for me, you know?
Yeah. I don't know what you were doing.
Fuck, man. I don't know. When I start thinking about freedom and laws and morality, like it just doesn't seem like any of them should really mix. And because I don't feel like we can ever get to a point where when do we have enough laws When do we have enough rules? When do we have enough regulations? When do we stop having to, or, you know, or a better question, I guess, is when do we start having to dictate and legislate morality? Like, you can't legislate morality, but we keep trying. And that's one of the biggest problems I have with this, because this anti-pornography thing is actually a big thing. And they're using a lot of, there's a handful of lawyers that I've just read about. They're using the case from Girls Gone Wild back in the day to bolster their current case, and it's fucking working. But that's my biggest problem with porn. Like, porn is a victimless crime, and I you know, they say, but I can't call it a crime. Like, you're just watching people fuck to get your rocks off. Now, there's going to be all sorts of motherfuckers out there who be like, oh, porn ruins society, this and that. Well, there's a million fucking things that ruin society. How about this? How about having a society full of indoctrinated people on one level or another? I know a lot of veterans. Most of my veteran friends, very normal, very down to earth, very reality driven, but I've got a good handful of veteran friends that are fucking totally brainwashed. These motherfuckers are all government all the fucking time. I will take down anybody, and they're waiting. Like, is that safe? I know fucking two of my closest friends joined the military strictly so they could kill people and get away with it. They're here now. They're walking around again. Is this safe? Is this a good idea? I don't think this is a great idea either.
No.
You know? No. But by all means, let's concentrate on somebody that's jerking off.
Yeah. I mean, if they all three don't mix, but they all three kind of have to a point, like, I mean, you know, freedom has to be limited to a point. It has to be. Like, otherwise you have complete chaos. And even if you have complete chaos, that shit's going to fall out, and then you're going to have some sort of limit to freedom. Like, it is. And that freedom is going to be based off of some sort of morality.
I just wish
whoever's doing that.
I just wish we could get to a point where we could actually come to a table and be like, okay, we have enough laws. Now you have to just be strong on your own. We have enough laws. Now you just have to be disciplined on your own. We have enough laws. Now you just have to get a skill on your own. We have enough laws. Now you have to do this shit on your own. You have to do your life on your own. But it seems like that we just can't get to that because, and dude, it's just, it wears me out. It really does. Cause it comes from every direction. Dude, the biggest patriots I know bark about more laws. The people that are most anti-patriotic that I know bark about having more laws. Like, how many fucking laws do we need? Why can't we get to a strong society? That kind of boils down to where I was like, let's let chaos run. The strong will survive, and then we'll revisit this motherfucker in 2 years and see how many people are left, see where the DNA pool is, and see what we can't restart. Because I mean, dude, every 4 years or every 2 years now, like whatever it is, we have Eugenics Fest, which is the Olympics. You know, let's celebrate the best DNA on Earth. You know, like might as well let's do that across the board. Let's get rid of all the fucking weak DNA. Let's get rid of all the welfarers and the do-nothingers. Let's get rid of all the fucking moochers and the grifters. Let's get rid of all the criminals. Let's get rid of all the thieves and the rapists and the child molesters. Let's get rid of all the motherfuckers. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that? Oh, it's because we got a fucking gaggle of people that are fucking out here defending the rights of people that shouldn't have any.
Yep. You're a murderer. Sorry, dude. You shouldn't have any rights.
I don't know. Is there an answer? Guys, let us know. Email us in at savagelylloudpodcast@gmail.com. Is there an answer? Is there a point in time or in society that we can get to where there's enough laws, where we all just go from those laws and then be disciplined on our own? Is there a point where we can get to as a full society where if you want to jerk off to porn, it doesn't bother me. If I want to do some other shit, it doesn't bother you. Like, is there a point in time? savagelylloudpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know. Guys, from then, help us out. Do us a favor. Do us a solid. Follow us on our social media pages, Savagely Loud Podcast on Instagram. There's links to my page, Savagely Loud, and Mikey's page, Woldy2 on there. You can find us on Facebook now. Mikey got that page set up. I don't know if we've done a bunch with it, but it's going.
We're
busy. We're busy
got
people.
a couple posts. I'm going to post once we get this one out there too. So
Sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, we're busy people, so help us out. You can find us on YouTube. Remember, like, subscribe, give us a review. Share our shit. Comment, man. Let us know what you think of the show. Talk your shit. If you really want to see a massive amount of shit talking, go to my page, Savagely Loud on Instagram, and read the comments. You will see a lot of shit talking. Not on the part of me, on the part of other people. I can handle what you got to say. Okay. Let us know what you think, guys. Mikey, do you have anything else before we get to our favorite segment?
I do not. You did a great job on that one. Just like, subscribe, comment, send us something, man.
Send us something. Nah, dick pics. Yeah, send Mikey dick pics. That's Woldy2 on Instagram for the dick pics.
I'll forward them to you. You're just ashamed. I'll forward them. Don't worry.
Got those emotional bandages from the golf game the other day.
Oh, I do. I've already used half the box.
So, all right, guys. At the end of every show, we like to we've been in this shit. We've yelled, we've screamed, we've got fired up, we've thought. Now we just like to have a little feel-good moment at the end of the show so that we don't all walk away all pissed off. And that's a little fucking segment that we call Hopelessly Human, and it starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
All righty, what you got for us on the Hopelessly Human, Mikey?
All right, so this one comes out of Kentucky, and it's a first grade boy. His school was doing pajama day. It's just, little kids. I mean, kids love pajama day.
Yeah,
we loved it back then too.
Pajama day.
It's one of those like awesome just days at school.
Crazy shirt day.
Yeah, but anyway, like. This kid, his family is obviously probably really poor. He doesn't have any pajamas. He didn't have any pajamas, so he could take to pajama day. So he gets on the bus, and normally, he's a happy-go-lucky kid and all that stuff. But on pajama day, he kind of dressed in normal clothes. He didn't have his pajamas. He kind of walked in the bus all sad and kind of slothed his way down to his seat. And the bus driver was like, "What's going on, man?" Talked to him, and he found out like he didn't have pajamas. So he took, he dropped all the kids off at school, took the bus to the store, bought some pajamas, dropped it back off to him.
That's awesome.
So he could enjoy, pajama day with the rest of his classmates. Like, that's just a really cool story about someone going out of their way to help a child and just someone that he didn't have to help.
I love when people go out of their way to help kids, especially because, even when we see these videos of the guy's been working at Burger King for 34 years. He's walked 10 miles both ways. So we all banded together and got him this little shitbox car. I love those stories, but there is part of me that says, well, you've had 35 years to figure this out, and you never stopped working at Burger King. So fuck you. But when it comes to the kids, they don't have that ability. They don't have the opportunity to figure it out. They don't,
No.
So when somebody else goes out of their way, when somebody goes out of their way for kids, that's when it really, really, really speaks volumes to me. That makes my heart and soul all warm and fuzzy, not in the vomity way.
Yeah, no, I saw that story. I was like, that's just a cool story. Like, he's a bus driver, like he's obviously not making a ton, but
right.
It's he sees one of the kids on his bus that is just down, and he figures out that it's because of pajama day, and he doesn't have any pajamas to wear, so gets him some pajamas and drops it back off at the school.
Yeah. I think that's fucking awesome. And that is really the core of Hopelessly Human segment, is that right there. Is that dude is just hopelessly human. He brings humanity right back around. And I think that's just the awesomest thing. So on that note, guys, you know what time it is. We're out of here. Bye.